North Korea just broke, Trump just made Kim Jong-un do the unthinkable. Donald Trump has done a lot of incredible things in a short time. What he made Kim Jong-un in North Korea do today really takes the cake. After weeks of grandstanding, North Korea made a shocking announcement. Kim Jong-un agreed to let a UN human rights inspector come into North Korea. Now, to the untrained eye, this may seem like no big thing. It's just one inspector, after all. Not true. North Korea has long considered the UN and especially the Human Rights Council to be enemy forces. They are worried the UN will come after them if they see the real North Korea. So, despite that the inspector is only there for people with disabilities, there can be no doubt that this is a big win. There can also be zero doubts that this would have never happened with Donald Trump. You know, for all his talk of nuclear disarmament, Obama really didn't do crap to stop North Korea. Trump has, and this gesture is proof of the might. Show this to all your friends and family and let them know America is winning. It's over. Right after North Korea, Trump just took down Saudi Arabia. During the campaign last year, President Donald Trump promised he would put America first and protect our country. First came North Korea. They were very bad. Trump laid the hammer hard on them. Now, as of last night, the president has turned his attention to a whole new issue, Saudi Arabia. Looks like he is sick and tired of paying for them to spread radical Wahhabi Islam. Last night Trump said, "Frankly, Saudi Arabia has not treated us fairly, because we are losing a tremendous amount of money in defending Saudi Arabia. Thank God someone is finally looking to hold them accountable." Remember back on the campaign when he said something similar? Nobody's going to mess with Saudi Arabia because we're watching them. They're not paying us a fair price. We're losing our shirt. And you can never forget this. So yeah, it looks like President Trump is not ready to play BTCH to the Saudi royal family just yet. The Bushes, Clintons, and Obamas may have, but Trump is a whole new kind of president. If you are glad to see our leader finally saying what all of us have been thinking, then help him share it out. I, for one, hope he takes it further and calls them out for all the horrible crap that they do. Why do we even help a country with pure Sharia law and horribly abused women? It's just sad. Trump gives Mad Dog green light to use entire military to destroy ISIS. According to the Associated Press, the Trump administration has given the Defense Secretary's Pentagon full discretion to decide troop levels in Iraq and Syria in the mission against the Islamic State group. The move is the latest by President Donald Trump to shift responsibility and power to his military leaders, and out of the White House bureaucracy. The decision will give Defense Secretary Jim Mattis the authority to send more forces into Syria, to assist U.S.-backed local troops as they move to retake Raqqa from the Islamic State group, which has used the city as a de facto capital, the AP reported. It will also let him adjust the force numbers in Iraq, in the ongoing fight to oust ISIS from Mosul and stabilize it as the rebuilding begins. The move comes on top of what the AP describes as quiet, incremental additions to the troop levels in the region over the past few months. However, Pentagon spokesman Dana White said Mattis has yet to use the authority to make any changes to troop levels. Restoring FML, force management level, decisions to the Secretary of Defense enables military commanders to be more agile, adaptive and efficient in supporting our partners, and enables decisions that benefit unit readiness, cohesion and lethality, White told BuzzFeed News. The Daily Caller reported in March that the Trump administration will also no longer announce the troop levels in the region. This is a marked departure from the Obama administration, which capped troop levels and would publicize most major military moves. The Obama administration's willingness to announce what they would do in advance of the initiative was a frequent target of criticism for Trump, both on the campaign trail and as president. This latest move makes it clear yet again that there's a new sheriff in town, and he's willing to put the tools for victory in the hands of Mattis, the former Marine Corps general sometimes known as Mad Dog. If I were an Islamic State group commander, I'd be feeling awfully queasy about that. Please like and share on Facebook and Twitter if you agree with what Trump just did for General Mattis. What are your thoughts on what President Trump just did? Scroll down to comment below. Japanese destroyer escorts joining USS Carl Vinson in massive show of force. The latest efforts to show North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un what he's up against include the USS Carl Vinson getting extra protection as it makes its way toward the Korean peninsula. The Japan Times reported that Japan's defense ministry said 2 Japanese F-15 fighter jets participated in an ongoing exercise Friday involving the carrier strike group and 2 Japanese destroyers. The Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force guided missile destroyer JS Ashigara and the destroyer JS Samadare were seen traveling in the Philippine Sea toward the peninsula for an exercise with South Korea, according to the Boston Herald. The exercise took reportedly place in waters east of Okinawa. Japan's Air Self-Defense Force said the exercise was scheduled for Wednesday but was cancelled due to bad weather, reported Xinhua Net. The news agency also reported that it was rare to hold military drills with aircraft carriers. Defense Minister Tomomi said the exercises would further strengthen the overall deterrence and response capabilities of the Japan-US alliance, and showcase our country's commitment and high ability in serving the regional stability. An MSDF spokesman told the Japan Times that the MSDF always looked for opportunities to conduct joint drills with the U.S. Navy, and we consider this good timing, adding that it was unknown when the drills would wrap up. The Vinson Strike Group conducted 2 exercises with the Japanese Navy last month. Tetsuo Kotani, senior fellow at the Japan Institute of International Affairs in Tokyo, said the exercises were one of several flexible deterrent options aimed at preventing an intentional escalation of the Korean crisis. This escort, along with the exercises being performed with the MSDF, demonstrates a growing effort to send a message to Kim, one that expresses a united show of strength to fight the North's repeated aggressive acts. Breaking, U.S. Navy unveils insane new weapon, North Korea crapping their pants. President Trump pledged to make America great again. On the campaign trail he promised when it came to our military, he would rebuild it and return it to one of the finest. Trump promised he would increase the size of our troops, adding 350,000 soldiers to our U.S. Army and adding 10-15 battalions to the U.S. Marine Corps. He also said he would add 1,200 fighter aircraft to the U.S. Air Force, as well as 350 surface ships and submarines to our U.S. Navy. It looks like President Trump is keeping those promises as he begins to rebuild our depleted military into one of the most elite ever in history. In January, President Trump signed an executive order to launch the Great Rebuilding of the Armed Forces, which will include new ships, planes, weapons and the modernization of the U.S. nuclear arsenal. Our new military under President Trump, well, let's just say it's going to be big league. President Trump is ensuring that military leaders have the support they need to accelerate the campaign against the Islamic State and to build combat readiness now and for the future. North Korea punk-ass leader Kim Jong-un may need a change of underwear after getting a look at this gem being put on the fast track by the Trump administration. ISIS acting up? Boom. Syria? Boom. Kim Jong-un? Boom. Yeah. Depends. Just saying. Depends. Just saying. As America's first all-new carrier design since the Nimitz in 1976, the Ford class will serve at least into the 2070s. But many of their escorts will be late-model Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, so-called Flight 3 updates of a 1980s design whose first ship, DDG-51, was commissioned in 1991. That's why the Navy is brainstorming a next-generation future surface combatant, aiming to solicit design proposals from industry around 2020. DDG's a great class of ship. But we're never going to build Flight 4, we need to move on, Moore said. It's probably time for us to work from a clean sheet. Moore is on a steering committee for the Clean Sheet Future Surface Combatant, along with 3-star counterparts from the Navy staff, UPNAV, and the operational fleet. The idea is to have warfighters, shipbuilders, and budgeteers working together from the start, instead of one group coming up with unrealistic requirements for a super ship the others can't build or can't afford. What does this mean for our enemies? The great thing about electrical power, unlike such features as 16-inch guns or thick armor plate, is that you can use it for almost anything. If one weapon, sensor, or communications system becomes obsolete, just unplug it and plug in something new. At least, that's the Navy's vision of never-ending modernization. But to upgrade without undue agony, you need to design a ship from the keel up with room to grow and an open architecture into which new components can easily plug and play. That's not how traditional ships like the Arleigh Burke destroyer were designed, which is part of the reason Flight 3 will probably be the last major upgrade of the class. "We're cramming a lot of stuff in that ship," said Moore. With the future surface combatant, by contrast, the Navy doesn't just want to build a ship, but a floating framework that can keep evolving for decades to exploit new technologies and meet new threats. That's not easy. As much as Moore wants to accelerate, the ship is going to be out there for the next 40, 50, 60 years, so it's important that we don't take any shortcuts, he emphasized. It's very important that we do diligence on looking at alternatives, looking at the cost, marrying the requirements up to the costs, so at the end we all have an understanding of this is the capability I'm going to buy, this is how much it's going to cost, this is when I'm going to get the capability, this is how long it'll last. If we have that discussion up front with the future surface combatant, we'll avoid some of the typical growing pains that we have for some of these programs. In other words, no more screwing around, bowing to dictators dedicated to wiping us out, smiling to our faces and funding terrorism behind our backs. No more phony red lines, flexibility on hot mix, reset buttons, Arab Springs, or any other nonsense. Just strength in what comes with it, peace. Share this if you think Kim Jong-un can kiss your ass.